So who wants to go
Who's
first with
going?
their lessons for the week?
I vote for Carly.
So mine was ego's qualifications as a guide are singularly unfortunate,
I love
which
that
was
statement.
fun. Yeah, it was good fun. Yeah.
And how did that work for you, Coralie?
I just remind myself of that and go, yep, that's true. Yep.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds like a statement to remind us to not take things so seriously.
Yeah,
Mm.
I think so.
I think
Nice.
that's probably one of the most important things we can do right now because there's
Absolutely.
so much going on.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep. Linda, since you graced us with Gracie too today, I'm so chuffed. She's joining in today.
Is. And I didn't even know she was there until you pointed her out there. Okay, so mine was the confusion of functions is so typical of the ego that you should be quite familiar with it by now. Coupled with, it is a particularly dangerous combination of grandiosity and confusion that makes the ego likely to attack anyone and anything for no reason at all. And yes, it's very interesting. That's all I'm going to say on that matter.
How interesting specifically. Mine, I'm sticking with a couple of the ones I've been working with for a while because it's such a discipline and it is a constant. And when I do it well, I have a ton more peace and a ton more happiness. So I love these ones. Seeing my brother as he truly is my gateway to heaven. And you cannot correct yourself. Is it possible then for you to correct another? And this has been particularly challenging because this weekend has been, or this weekend, weekend has been particularly aggravating to me because of the protests around the country and Trump with his military parade and his on his birthday, um, like the worst nightmare in American history. And I'm just looking at it, doing my best. Like, don't judge, don't judge, don't judge. See it as it is, see it as it is, see it as it is. You know? Um, and it's challenging. It's really challenging because I love the principles of America and I'm seeing them shattered before my eyes, as is most Americans right now. So it's uh it's uh it's a test of endurance
Mm.
to not
Maybe it's
go
time to
into.
stop watching it.
Well, I also don't want to bury my head in the sand and think that nothing's really happening when lots is happening, and it will eventually hit Australia as well. So, all these things, all these changes in the consciousness around the planet is starting to go in a very interesting and peculiar way. And that means that each one of us have to become more centered in ourselves. Our own internal universe influences, like 15, 20 feet around us and everyone that we know it influences. So I've been doing my very best to stay really focused, especially because I'm teaching a training now, and it's super important for me to be at my absolutely optimal best. So these statements from the Course in Miracles is a lifeline, to tell you the truth. You know what I figured the Course in Miracles actually is? It's a bit like urban shamanism. It forces you to practice this spiritual perspective no matter where you are, no matter what time you are. It's not about yoga, it's not about meditation. It is about a constant application of perspective and how you want to wield your perspective really is either your pathway to heaven or your pathway to hell. So I'm eternally grateful for what we do every Tuesday night.
Mm.
Mm.
I love that. Urban shamanism.
Yeah, you got to make your mind right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And yes, I've actually got a little bit of a mantra that I'm doing at the moment, and it starts with my daily habits, and it's like this is where we make the changes in every little thing we do and how we do
Yep.
it. Mm,
And all the thoughts we think and all of our interactions with our brothers and sisters, it's all part of a spiritual journey that we're all on.
mm,
And every one of them is just as important as another one. Me sitting in meditation is as important as me greeting a bank teller or saying hello to a person on a walking trail. Um, it's this interaction with God.
mm.
And how we do that um, is a testament to, our beliefs and our faith.
Yeah. My lesson was miracles are merely the sign of your willingness to follow the Holy Spirit's plan of salvation, recognizing that you do not understand what it is and you don't need to.
Mm.
And I've been focusing on finding the miracles in my day, and it's almost like a gratitude practice anyway. So, yeah, that was nice.
That's great, V.
Mm.
Mm,
So what's the biggest miracle that you've experienced since we saw you last?
mm. Biggest miracle. Um, I don't even know if it's for me, but just the way that people help each other in this town. I told Linda, you know Mandy. But I
Yep.
told her that the just some of the things that they're trying to do at Waddy Farm to get a bit more cash in, and she just takes that on board and runs with it. And you know, but I've been helping them as well with some things like they're doing a GoFundMe so that they can get some cash in for hay because everything's just too expensive, and they've had a dog who's had thousands of dollars worth of surgery. So it all gets quite expensive, and just the way people come together, and people are donating hundreds, and one person donated $1,000 to this GoFundMe, and just to see that, it's quite beautiful.
Mm. It is. And they're doing such a great job out there too. They
Yep,
really are. Not only for the horses, but for humans too.
absolutely.
And Joe,
That's so
I'll
expected.
answer.
To be crying.
It's good for you to queep, V.
Yep.
Yeah, well, you
You
know
put the
me, I
heart
cry
up
at the
there.
drop of a hat, so
That's true. I do remember that. I remember you would get up to do a talk, and before you get up to do the talk, you would weep. Remember that?
Yep.
That was perfection. So I just wanted to respond to Joe's statement in chat. Well, it is true, Joe. Like there is powers of greed and drama going all over the world right now. They're having mass demonstrations all throughout Europe to demonstrate against tourism because there are 1 trillion tourists in Europe right now, and the Europeans are going nuts. So yeah, there's all that happening everywhere. But what just happened in Nanup at V's horse place is a testament to how we do all of these beautiful things in microcosm. We can't necessarily change the world, that's for sure. And I'll just revert back to that beautiful quote from the Dalai Lama: the war without will never cease until the war within ceases. So the thing we have really control over is our own thoughts, our own condemnations, our own judgments. And when we stop those things, we reach a certain level of peace. And that then contributes to, I believe, a world peace because we are influencing people with that vibratory resonance wherever we go. The challenge, of course, is not dropping down into judgment and condemnation of others and staying stuck there because we cannot resolve what other people do. We do not have control over them. We only have control over our own selves. Um, I'm with you though, Joe. I could speak for hours if I let myself on the injustices and inhumanity to man that's occurring right now. Or I can simply be that person who never does that to another living soul. And because I've done the other route, I've marched on Washington, I have screamed at church leaders. I have thrown fits at people who are protesting at gay pride festivals and condemning gay people and holding up signs saying, you deserve to die. All of that. I've done all that. And none of it ever worked because, quite frankly, I don't have control over those people or what they think. But I have control over how I frame them in my mind and what I will do to increase my own vibratory resonance of love. And I can't always do it. I mean, let's
That,
all be quite honest, but
that's part
I
of
am
why I
more
asked
aware
the
of it and
question.
I do it more often.
That's part of why I asked the question because you made the statement of not, people not paying attention or like head in the sand or however you said it. And I'm one of those people because I don't want to keep hearing the drama. I don't want to keep hearing the fear mongering. I don't want to keep hearing the propaganda. We all know
Yeah.
that our media does not tell us the truth or the whole story so we can make our own judgments and opinions. So for me, watching this political parade of bullcrap is really just sad and depressing because those people don't care about me. They're not doing anything to better my life.
Yeah.
All I'm doing is having to pay a shit ton of taxes to live on a planet that God gave to us for free with everything we need. And these bastards turned around and took it all and forced us to pay for it. So it's like, if they destroy themselves, I'm okay with that. God will
Yeah.
sort it out
Always.
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 Well said, Joe.
I've been in a
Always.
lot of anger lately, so hopefully my rants don't get out of control.
Well, I'll tell you what my big outcome is that our alien brothers and sisters from a variety of different planets around the universe are already here, and that they create some sort of massive intervention before we all blow ourselves up. That's what I'm thinking. So we'll see. I mean, there's so much we don't know and so much to be discovered still.
So just keep laying on my patio at night and flashing my laser pen into the sky. SOS,
I would
SOS, get
totally
me out
do
of here.
that. Totally do that, Joe. Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Hi, Jane.
Hey, Jane.
Did you have a lesson from last week or the week before that you have anything you want to share on?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Just
I
to do
couldn't be
lessons.
here last week. Oh, you were talking to me, is that right?
Yes, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't have been here last week. Um, no, but I don't know that I really have anything to share per se. Um, but I do find that the more I am with people like us, are the like-minded people that we are, and I'm engaged and involved in a process of growth, and truly soulful growth. It just saves me. It just saves me every time. I can I can weather. I just can weather things. I snap back. I snap out of the so-called bad attitude so quickly, and I just love that. It's like it's a gift on high. So that's my, like for me anyhow, at this point in my life, what more can I ask for than that?
Mm.
Um, you know, because uh it's sort of like, Gary, what you said, that quote about the the war within and the war without. And it's like, if that isn't powerful, and on a mini level, don't we all have the war within? And yet, like, then to learn at some point in your life that that everybody's just, we're all holding up the mirror for each other, and we get to see. And it's like, wow. Do you like what you see? And then the self-love, because that's all that matters, is the self-love, and then it extends outward. But boy, that, Gary, also when you say, blow ourselves up, and, Joe, you so aptly put kind of where you're at with the state of affairs. Would those aliens outside that are here in whatever form, maybe they would just clap and say, finally, they blew themselves up. It's good.
The scourge of the planet has now been cleaned.
Yeah. Yep. 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 The dark side and Darth Vader have left the universe along with Elvis.
Oh, that's hysterical.
Wait, I thought Elvis was a pastor down in Tennessee somewhere.
I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's there.
No, type it up. Next Google search you do, Elvis pasture in Tennessee, and there's this whole big conspiracy story about it. I'm kind of believing it, but I'm not 100%. I'm like maybe 90.
I think we should go to that church, Joe. You should just drop by Arkansas. Tennessee's just a hop, skip, and a jump away, and we'll just go there and check out Elvis's next sermon.
Sure, I'll blow past Tennessee, hit Arkansas, pick you up, and we'll come back up to Tennessee.
There you have it.
Hopefully, I have my Land Rover then. That will be a great ride.
There you go.
Oh, nice.
It's an older one, not new, but I love it. It's beautiful. It's almost paid off
Good for you.
a few $1,000s.
Sweet.
The only thing that gives me peace when we look at all the corruption that goes on in our world is, I think, we've mentioned it a few times about where people come here. People come to Earth because they want to experience something, and what they want to experience may be starvation, it may be some form of suffering, to create the learning from that. And that's the only thing that I can kind of come to peace with when I see stuff going on, is that, everyone's on their own journey, and help them if we can, but at the same time, if they don't want the help, then you can't help them. And interfering with their karma, it doesn't help anybody. It's just a waste of energy.
Well, I
But
always remember Dr. David Hawkins, who wrote, Power versus Force and multiple other books, that, someone asked about that, and he gave this statement and said, where would souls go that needed to learn about war? They would be born into Israel and Palestine. Where do they go when they have to learn about starvation? They'd be born into, well, it used to be Biafra, but now I guess it's I can't even remember the African nation that really suffered a lot of, Ethiopia. And where would souls go that needed to learn about wealth and privilege? They'd be incarnating into either the Rockefeller family in New York. So we're all here to learn certain lessons. And no matter what happens globally, there'll be pockets of people that never experience any of the discord. and there'll be people that are deeply engrossed in the discord. And it depends on if we see this world as real or if we see it as an evolutionary stopover for our soul. And I prefer to see it as an evolutionary stopover for my soul. So I think that that is probably the one perspective that I will stick with.
Mm.
This is not real, and I am on an evolutionary stopover, and I can't wait to jump out of my body into the other side. It's
Yes.
true. I think about ever since Doris's death, I'm like, wow, like I'm 73, I'll be 74 in another couple months. I'm like maybe 15 years away from that. Maybe, maybe less, maybe more, but it's not long. And I'm like,
Oh, yeah,
You still have
I
work to
know.
do, though, Gary.
Yes, you do. I
I
was just going
know
to say that.
I got all kinds of stuff I still need to do. So, yeah, but I think I'm going to get an avatar built of me. So my image and everything I know will keep coming out of my mouth. Blaze and I will build it out. So then you'll
That
never
would
be rid of me. I'll just be like this eternal image on the internet.
that would be awesome if you transferred your consciousness, Gary. I've heard people are doing this already.
Oh no, I don't want to transfer my consciousness. I'll just transfer knowledge. When I'm out of here, I'm out of here. So
Well, is consciousness your soul? Or are you just conscious because you have a soul?
I'm not smart enough to know that, Joe.
Me neither.
Definitely not smart enough to know that one.
Well, shall we start reading?
We should. We've been awful goofy tonight.
Where are we in the book? I've been away so long. I'm still
Page 171, Joe. It's the new chapter, The Unhealed Healer.
Oh boy,
Mm.
I should probably
Well,
read this one first.
yeah.
Is this why I'm on the call today?
Probably.
Yeah,
Well, we're all
all
on
of
the
us.
call today. I'll start, V. What do you think?
Thank you. Yes, brilliant.
Okay. The ego's plan for forgiveness is far more widely used than God's. This is because it is undertaken by unhealed healers and is therefore of the ego. Let us consider the unhealed healer more carefully now. By definition, he is trying to give what he has not received. If an unhealed healer is a theologian, for example, he may begin with the premise, I'm a miserable sinner and so are you. If he's a psychotherapist, he is more likely to start with the equally incredible belief that attack is real for both himself and the patient, but that it does not matter for either of them.
Mm-hmm.
Does that paragraph require any more definition, or is it pretty clear?
Well, I think it's pretty clear, but it's also hard hitting too, isn't it? When you think about
Yeah,
Mm,
it. Mm.
yes, definitely. And um, since working with Catherine at Waddy Farm and hearing a lot of the stories that get shared from messages with her and other people, a lot of that happens in animal welfare where people are taking on all these animals thinking they're helping them, but they've got overcrowding and they don't have the knowledge to even help them. And they think they're having they've got a big heart and they're taking all this on, but they're not actually helping because they can't help themselves, let alone another living being. And then they just keep adding more living beings to that, thinking it's going to heal them.
Mm.
it's true. It's very true, actually. I never thought of it in animal um, security and safety.
Mm. I wonder if that's also with children.
Yeah, I'd say
Probably.
that's with a lot
And
of
foster
foster.
carers and yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
If a lot of times people have children because they want to be loved by someone unconditionally.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have that kind of entering, a conditional entering into a relationship with a child, you bind them to you to be the one that gives you what you've never been able to give yourself, which is a really unfair contract.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Hmm. We Should we go to number 2?
let's go to number 2.
I think the examples were very useful. Shall I read that one? Or
Sure.
does someone else? It's a short
Sure.
one.
Sure.
I have repeatedly said that beliefs of the ego cannot be shared, and this is why they are unreal. How then can uncovering them make them real? Every healer who searches fantasies for truth must be unhealed, because he does not know where to look for truth, and therefore does not have the answer to the problem of healing.
Does anyone actually have the answer to the problem of healing?
Mm.
I think only in self-healing.
Hmm.
Well, isn't the answer love?
Hmm.
Love of self,
Yes,
and then outwards.
yes.
For me, that work with both physical and emotional, Jane. The
Absolutely.
just
Mm.
fully give love
Yes.
to yourself, regardless of the physical or emotional situation you're in.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yep.
Mm.
Yeah, because there's always something to know. If you can take away judgment, I mean, think about it. You could, how many times have you seen, or I guess I'll speak for myself. I've seen many different times that it's either played out in a movie or it's certainly taken from real life in a courtroom where there's a victim who died at the hands of some selfish, egotistical bully, let's say, and then and maybe it's a child that dies at the hands of this person, and then in to the courtroom walks the parent who says, I know that hurting people is only perpetrated because you hurt so much, and I forgive you. It's like, wow, how outstanding is that? And at least I somehow believe that person that they say they forgive them because they've looked beyond this life and they can imagine the pain it took when we perpetrate any kind of hurt. So, it's almost like we're all victims of victims, and the cycle keeps going. So,
Mm.
Hmm. Interesting. Hmm.
Number 3.
Hmm.
Who wants to read that one? It's a big one.
I will then.
Good on you, Linda.
Thanks. There is an advantage to bringing nightmares into awareness. but only to teach that they are not real and that anything they contain is meaningless. The unhealed healer cannot do this because he does not believe it. All unhealed healers follow the ego's plan for forgiveness in one form or another. If they are theologians, did I say that right, Gary?
Yep.
They are likely to condemn themselves, teach condemnation, and advocate a fearful solution. Projecting condemnation onto God, they make him appear retaliative and fear his retribution. What they have done is merely to identify with the ego and by perceiving what it does, condemn themselves because of this confusion. It is understandable that there have been revolts against this concept, but to revolt against it is still to believe in it. Oh my God, it was difficult.
But you
That's a
did it.
great.
No wonder no one else wanted to read it. Dear God.
Need a
You got
library.
all hot and
Me too.
sweaty on that one, didn't you, Linda?
Damn
This
tootin'.
chapter's a bit rough, isn't it?
Yeah. We need to break that right down, do you think?
I think.
Okay.
Oh, it's got a woman here all of a sudden.
Gracie wasn't interested in that one either. She's gone. She's
No, she's
gone.
gone. Yeah. So can we just start with the first sentence? There is an advantage to bringing nightmares into awareness, but only to teach that they are not real and that anything they contain is meaningless. So we're talking about like a real life experience that years later we're trying to tackle and break down and find a way of healing from it.
I think that works. I think it's also the news. The news was the first thing came to my mind.
Hmm. Yeah.
I
So
think that.
maybe,
Go ahead, V.
so maybe the news is a test for us as well. Like, how can you watch this and still realize that it's meaningless?
Mm.
In the middle of the paragraph, I think is the point of the paragraph, where it says, because it's talking about the ego's plan for forgiveness and how it's always about condemnation. And then over here it says, projecting condemnation onto God, they make him appear retaliative and fear his retribution. What they have done is merely to identify with the ego and by perceiving what it does, condemn themselves because of this confusion. It is understandable that there have been revolts against this concept, but to revolt against it is to believe in it. I kind of get that. But I keep thinking this is how they have turned God into a fearful source, how Christianity has made him into a vengeful God. There's a big billboard here in Arkansas. You guys would love Arkansas. And it goes, warning, prepare to meet God. And I'm like, wow. Literally, it is a monstrous billboard here in Arkansas. I pass by it all the time on my way to Home Depot, and it's like, warning, prepare to meet God. And I'm like, I don't think I need a warning if I'm preparing to meet God. But they've made God in 99.9% of the evangelical churches as a vengeful God who has a set of rules that it keeps. And you're condemned if you don't do everything the minister says. It's terrifying. In Arkansas, we were in Eureka Springs, and we sit down in this restaurant. And the waitress comes up and she's talking to us about just about ready to take our orders. And she said, my minister said that it's okay for me to talk to gay people. So I'm happy to take your order. And I'm like, what?
Unreal. Dear God.
What?
What?
And then I said, so if your minister said it wasn't okay for you to talk to gay people, then that would mean that you would not be taking our order. Oh, I might take it anyways, but I could take it just right fine right now. I'm like, oh my
Wow.
God, I have like, what kind of planet am I living on? Yeah. So they've taken this concept of God, they've projected the ego, separation, condemnation, and created an idol of what they think God is in their own image. And then they've created fear as its primary tool to keep people in alignment with what they say from the pulpit.
Hmm.
It's fascinating.
But isn't that what society does anyway?
I
And I
think
know,
I think this is what the ego does
hmm,
regardless.
yeah, them in fear
Yes.
and they will
So,
do whatever.
but here's the key part. It says it is understandable that there have been revolts against this concept. That's us. We're the revolt. But to revolt against it is to believe in it. And then I thought, well, that's really true. Because if
Mm.
I'm revolting against it, I'm calling it real. Because I make it real by condemning it, right? So if we don't condemn it and just seeing it as this ripple in the pond of consciousness, maybe there's that we don't make it real.
Yeah. It's like fighting for peace.
Yeah,
You
Yeah.
can't.
that's a very difficult one for me to swallow.
Don't,
Like,
that don't
what do you mean
work.
I can't revolt against it? But it is true. To revolt
I,
True.
against it is to believe in it.
yeah. We've had stuff happen here too. We've got the right-wing government, and there was stuff that I could get really angry about and go on the protest about. But then when I stand back, I don't want to, be against that either. But what I did do on Monday was go to this yoga thing that was at Parliament, and we were peaceful presence, and that's where I think we sit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, exactly.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm.
there was no engagement in any sort of, what's happening. It's just we're just here with peaceful presence.
Well, I love New Zealand beyond words because I got to see the haka performed in Parliament. That was just the best thing I think I've ever seen in my life.
Mm.
So, did you see that, Carly?
Oh, the when Hana Rafferty, yes. I even referred to that in the speech I did in Parliament.
It was awesome. If you guys haven't seen that video, it is one of the most beautiful videos ever.
Yeah. They all got suspended, the
Did
Maori
they?
Party. Yeah, that's it. They got handed the most severe sentence ever for doing that.
And so what would I look it up under?
Haka in New Zealand Parliament, or
Okay.
Maori revolt in New Zealand Parliament.
She's
Were they
Okay.
such a good
suspended for a
speaker.
long time or a period of time?
Well, 21 days.
Oh, they'll be back. They'll do it again.
Hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of division around lots of things really. Yeah.
Around the world, just like Joy
But
said.
actually, yeah, the thing I went to on Monday was actually run by the High Commission of India.
Nice.
Hmm.
And it had politicians from both sides
Nice.
spoke at it.
Yeah, well, you were Gandhi was coming to mind as well for me, and how he managed to make such huge changes for his country with never raising,
Mm.
Mm, yeah,
never raising any kind of violence at all.
yeah.
It's possible.
Mm.
Yeah,
And
it
it's not
It
is.
would
angry.
be to see the example of that. It'd be really useful if you guys ever watch Gandhi with I forget the actor's name.
Ben Kingsley.
Ben
Ben
Kingsley.
Ben
Kingsley.
Kingsley. It is
Mm,
breathtaking.
yeah.
It really is.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
breathtaking.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes, it's been a long time since I've seen it, so yeah, check it out.
Hmm.
Has any of this helped, Linda?
Well, yes. Um, yes, it has. My brain hurts though.
Shall we move on? It might become clearer as we keep reading.
I
Oh,
do
what
like
a
the
I feel like
last
thought.
it's
line though.
rough a bit.
The last line is great.
Yeah, the last line's beautiful.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Who's going to read number 4? It's another long one.
Jane.
Well, I'll be happy to.
Go on, Jane. Thanks.
Some newer forms of the ego's plan are as unhelpful as the older ones because form does not matter and the content has not changed. In one of the newer forms, for example, a psychotherapist may interpret the ego's symbols in a nightmare and then use them to prove that the nightmare is real. Having made it real, he then attempts to dispel its effects by depreciating the importance of the dreamer. This would be a healing approach if the dreamer were also identified as unreal. Yet if the dreamer is equated with the mind's corrective power through the Holy Spirit is denied. This is a contradiction, even in the ego's terms, and one which it usually notes even in its confusion. This is a contradiction even in the ego's terms, and one which it usually notes even in its confusion.
Am I the only one here whose mind is being blown completely? Like,
This one's interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
There's just so much ego in everything we do and
hmm.
think.
I think it's because, there's large swaths of our day that we believe we are our personalities and that
Mm.
Mm.
our fears are real and all
Mm.
of that.
Yes, it's just generally believed, isn't it?
Hmm.
That's the way.
Well, I just got a certified letter today from IRS that you have to sign. And whenever you get a certified letter from IRS, it's never good news. And
Oh.
and so I was in the middle of a session. I couldn't answer the door to sign the letter, so we have to wait till tomorrow. And then I started getting like, oh my God, what if we're going to get? And I started catastrophizing immediately. And then I just thought, no, whatever it's going to be perfect. And I do not have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about it. I can't. I won't. So I do think we have to work at not making it real.
Hmm.
Mm.
I still have on my computer, I don't keep all my lessons, but I do have this one that really, I just love the way it's worded. Do not allow yourself to suffer from imagining results to what is not true.
Hmm.
Just like that.
I think I've got
Because
that one too
basically,
around my computer.
it's just saying don't
Mm.
worry, but you use so many other words about it, you have to think about it, which is exactly what the Course in Miracles is like. There's so many words around the basic concept of love and peace that it makes you have to engage with it and you have to address your cognitive dissonance to actually think maybe there's another way.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also this one that I've been carrying around with me for a long time. If you can think about what you want in your mind and make that your dominant thought, you will bring it into your life. And that goes with good or bad thoughts.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
Sure.
whatever our little monkey
Yeah.
mind just keeps repeating is we're going to manifest. So it's
Right.
addressing the habit of thinking
Mm-hmm.
and asking, what am I thinking right now? And
Yep.
is it
Yep.
Right. Right. Exactly. You know what I find helpful? And I don't think about it often enough for it to help me all the time, but um, if we know how fleeting this time on earth is, and if we believe that we're here for a drop in the ocean of time, like a tear in the ocean is this lifetime for us. It's like there we came, we left. And so if we are souls before birth and we're agreeing in a contract, a soulful contract to inhabit the earth in a human form, and we say to ourselves and our divine maker, yeah, you're right. I do sign up for this blip, and I'll learn so much, and my soul will grow so much. Of course, I'll sign up. No matter what the hardship or dare I say, agony might occur. Um, it's like, well, when you put it that way, you know, it's like you can do it. You can say yes to it. Um, Fear? What fear? What's there to fear when it's the snap of a finger? So I don't know if anyone else has thought of it that way.
similar? I kind of have a little saying in my head that says when it doesn't matter, we're not getting out of this alive. So
Right, right. It's so
That
true.
that is the inevitability of life, isn't it?
Yeah,
so when and we
yeah.
don't actually, there's no point fearing death, but a lot of us, I think, are fearing life and living and
Yes,
actually experiencing
yes.
the lesson that we're here to learn, um,
Mm.
so that we can move on and evolve.
Right, right. Yeah.
There's a lovely Rumi quote you're saying about being a drop in the ocean. It says, "You are not a drop in the ocean, you are the ocean in a drop."
Mm.
Yeah,
Ah, wow.
Mm.
it's
Geez,
beautiful.
I like that.
Mm.
Hmm.
Um, the next one is still a rather large one, so I think I'd like to save that one for next week, if that's all right, because we've only
That
got a few
is.
minutes left now. I haven't taken many notes from this one for a lesson, and what I actually have taken down is what something Jane said. Love of self creates self-healing and is required before any healing can be shared outward.
Nice.
Hmm.
Well, it's not exactly what you said, but it's kind of what I envisioned as you were
Yeah,
saying.
yeah. I'm gonna make that mine too. Because I mean, that's really all we have, and that's all we are, is if we're not conduits of love.
What is there?
Yeah, why bother?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'll share mine. I'm going to change one of the words. I originally wrote down to revolt against it is to believe in it. And how I've changed that is to judge against it is to believe in it.
Mm.
That's even better.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
That really reinforces it.
Yeah. So that's going to be mine for the week. Now I'm starting to layer my post-it notes.
Are
You
they
need a bigger
colorful,
monitor so you can
Gary?
spread them out
I
more.
need a bigger screen. I need a bigger
Yeah.
computer screen.
Yep.
Okay, that's a good one.
Mm. Yes.
Okay.
Who else has got one? I
I
can see
thought I
Linda's
might just stay
formulating one.
with what's
What
that?
was that? What did you say, Carly?
I, I thought I might just stay with last week's one because it was a
Yeah.
bit more fun. This week was a bit serious for me. And that was
Can you say what it was, Corley?
yeah, yeah. Ego's qualifications as a guide are singularly unfortunate.
Wow, that is good.
I love that one.
Mhm.
Linda?
There is an advantage to bringing nightmares into awareness, but only to teach that they are not real and that anything they contain is meaningless.
Nice.
Hmm.
Very nice.
Joe, have you got one? Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Only one thing really popped out at me. To revolt against it is to believe in it.
Mm.
Mm.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah. That'll be a good lesson.
That'll keep us
Righty.
humble and in spirit, I'll tell you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well,
All
you're
right.
always you have the fight, aren't you? If you are against anything.
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah.
you
It's
create
like even
division
when you
and
see
separation.
who, I can't remember, but I've seen some memes about it too, where you say there's no point arguing with an idiot and someone and the other person says something like,
Mm.
I can't remember, and they go to, and he just goes, yes, you're right.
Easier to agree.
And Wayne Dyer always used to say, do you want to be happy or do you want to be right?
Mm.
Yeah.
So I think she's happy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've resorted to when I'm driving and someone's unhappy with my driving or living or whatever whatever it might be, and they beep their horn or give me the finger or whatever. I'm into blowing kisses these days. I'll go, you know, and they just look at me, like, what? What? How dare you blow me kisses?
How dare you not get angry?
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, geez.
Okay. Well, we'll see you all again
Yeah.
next week if you can make it.
Yes.
Thank you,
Yes.
everyone.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
all.
Have a
Conversation.
great week.
Yep.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Mwah.
I
Bye.